Welcome back to Emotional Mojo. Our next guest knows firsthand what it is to be resilient. But is resilience something you can learn? Joining us is resilience expert and author, Dr. Kosal. Welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
We say you know firsthand about resilience because you have a great story, which we're going to get to in a second. But let's just share with everyone what resilience, what it means to be resilient and why it's so important.
Well, resilience is certainly the ability to respond the way you want to respond to some sort of hardship, adversity, stress, crisis. You know, oftentimes we hear this bouncing back, and I think it's more than that because bouncing back to me sounds more passive than you taking control and you deciding what to make with the situation and pulling things in your own direction.
Bouncing back makes me feel very acute. Like, okay, I bounced back from this, but resilience to me is long-term.
Exactly.
Yeah, like climbing up that hill back
It's
to where
having
you
that
wanna be.
attitude. It's not just, again, sort of being reactive, it's being proactive.
And we said you're a resilience expert, you're a doctor, but you have lived this. And we'd love for you to share your story because you've overcome some unimaginable hardships. Take us back, 2006, your husband misdiagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. What happened?
Well, he had all kinds of crazy symptoms, some of which fell into the ALS Lou Gehrig's category. He was having trouble twisting off bottle tops, doing zippers, but he also had massive, massive migraine headaches, ringing in the ears, a crick in his neck. He just felt sick. And for a lot of these, we just sort of wrote him off. You know, he's getting older, he's working too much, things like that. But the final one was really when he was having trouble twisting off a bottle cap.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, you know, various physicians, we get that misdiagnosis. And you can imagine that blow. At the time, we only had one child. We now have two. And at that time, he was just learning how to walk, our child. And, you know, just that diagnosis, which is fatal, and usually 2 to 5 years after the diagnosis is made, the person will pass away.
But it wasn't Lou Gehrig.
No, and like I said, fortunately, we had enough, I guess, sort of intuition and lots of friends and some signs and people saying things at the right time that just kind of made you go,
You do have to be your own advocate, though.
Absolutely.
Do your own
In
research.
today's healthcare
What was it?
environment.
Yes, yes.
What was it?
He has chronic Lyme disease, a neurological chronic Lyme disease.
Which
And
can be extremely debilitating.
Yes, and in his case, it has been. So at this point, he is not able to breathe on his own. He is not able to walk on his own. And so he really has been hit hard.
Yeah. And that's not just for him to be resilient. That's for
course.
you, for the children, for his family and friends. I mean, his illness is what inspired you to create this movement, Bounce to Resilience. Can you kind of share that with us?
Well, when he first started getting so sick, we decided that there had to be something positive that we could take from this. We knew that we couldn't just sort of give into it and, you know, just get depressed. And so we wanted to try to give back. And during this ordeal, which has now been going on 5+ years, we have had so much kindness. I can't tell you how many strangers, friends, neighbors, relatives have just jumped on board and have shown kindness.
About it, even
yes,
5 years.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, Tara, you speak the same way of when your husband was sick.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my husband 16 months ago to cancer, and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and your kids are now 5 and 7, and so I can totally relate to what you're going through as this, you know, mother who does it all, supporting the family, having the kids. I mean, your husband is still here, but obviously takes a lot of care. So now you have all that, plus you're a caregiver, and trying to deal with so many losses of his facilities, and still you're able to write this book about positivity and how do you keep moving forward, which is amazing.
Miracles for Daddy. I love it because it does tell your story, but it's not just about that. It also focuses on gratitude. And how do you stay so positive?
I think because I can see my husband and what he's able to do. Even right now, he can't speak well, and we have this group of men that come to our house to help him exercise. And they will tell me every time, your husband has done so much for us. Wow. He is an amazing man. And I think, no, you're the ones who are helping us. And again, just kindness from people. And I think really anybody who has gone through adversity, any book you pick up, any psychologist that you talk to, always talks about gratitude, and it's so true. It puts things in perspective.
All the time.
Yeah.
She's
You know, it's
psychotherapist.
interesting because when I think of resiliency, you know, that is such a universal message because I work with domestic violence survivors, and it's all about resiliency, and children who have been abused, it's all about resiliency. So that theme rings consistently. But for you, how have you taken it and reframed this situation, turning tragedy into triumph?
Well, I think my kids have benefited a lot from not only the kindness of people, you know, directly, like they might get one of our neighbors will pick up my son occasionally from school, and every time he comes home, he's got, you know, a milkshake yesterday, a pack of M&Ms.
So you had to stop that.
It's teaching them too.
Yeah.
Yes, but
be empathetic and
appreciate
help others.
that.
Yeah.
and the way in which we speak about things. So did you realize how nice it was that this person went out of his way to pick you up for school because I had to stay at work late for a meeting? And, you know, this neighbor of ours fell the other day on the ice, and she ended up breaking her wrist, and, you know, rushed out there to help, and the kids are all concerned, and they're wanting to make
they've learned
cookies
that
for
from
her.
others.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really just pointing out stuff. I think sometimes we get so busy that we stop to pause and say, you know, even though maybe this isn't the best hand that we've been dealt, look at all of these wonderful things around us.
That's a
Look
great
at these
reframe.
people.
And I think teaching it to your children has really helped you to then be able to write this book and teach it to others.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you.
your advice with us. You guys can check out her book. You can also go to bounce2resilience.com for more info on that and check it out and start to change your perspective a little bit, right?
For sure.
We're going to play some yes no. Do you want to play a game with us?
Yes,
All right,
I'm
I'm going to give you the sign. And we'll start with our first topic. New Jersey this week became the first U.S. state to allow pregnant women to keep the fathers of their children from the delivery room while giving birth. Mothers-to-be also are not obligated to inform the fathers they've even gone into labor. We're talking specifically about unmarried couples. This is all according to a court decision. Earlier this week, the judge had to settle a fight between a couple. They were engaged, but they separated during the pregnancy, and the father said he had a right to be present during the birth of his child, and the mother said, I don't want you here. I'm not even going to let you know when I go into labor. The judge ruled her rights as a patient for privacy and as a pregnant woman to control her own body outweigh the father's desire to be present. This is hard. I still don't know my answer, but what do you think? Should moms be able to keep dads from the delivery room?
Oh, this is
It's
It is
so
very
hard, but I'm going to say no.
I'm going to end it on a yes. Only because at the end of the day, I feel like anything that causes stress in the delivery room is bad
Yeah,
for the
because
baby.
it can, exactly.
I can
This is
see all
hard.
the ways.
What do you
but,
think?
Yeah.
Why the no? Why the no's from you guys?
Because he has a right to be there. It's his child, too.
But does he have a right to be inside of the room?
Yes. To see the birth of his child is a very precious
I will say
moment.
it's tough because we do tell men to step up and take more, part in this, and then we tell them they can't be there. I don't know.
But
What do you
these are
think?
special circumstances.
Yeah, I'm just sort of thinking, going back to this idea of domestic violence or just situations you don't know much about, then I was saying yes, but then I
Right, it's
thought,
hard,
no,
right?
but it
Yeah,
is your
this is a hard
child. Yeah, it's your baby.
It's a tough one. What about this? Little girls always pretending to be older, right? Using mom's makeup and jewelry. But what about bras for 5-year-olds? There are a lot of them out there, you guys. Designers are calling it the new undershirt. We only have about 20 seconds here. Do you think 5-year-olds should be wearing, what do they call, bralettes?
No.
No, it's so weird. Come on. Let them just
Not
be
yet.
kids.
Let them be
My
kids.
goodness.
Maybe 11, 12.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, thanks for playing that game with us. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining
Thank
us.
you
Make
very
sure
much.
you check out her book and website as well. We'll be right back. You're watching Emotional Mojo.